Hi, this is Ted. Today I'm going to be talking about why do prophets want to be prophets? Is there something in it for them? What I'm going to be doing is borrowing from different sources, definitely my own experience, but there's another source that I'd like to present to you, which is really kind of interesting because it so parallels what I believe they are facing and why they're getting into becoming prophets and continuing on with the stuff that they're doing. All right, the book is called Escaping the Rabbit Hole, How to Debunk Conspiracy Theories Using Facts, Logic, and Respect. And it's by Mick West. Why do people want to be prophets? It provides something that they really want deep down inside. And that's something, in one word, which I'll be talking about for the rest of this time, is called uniqueness. I might be kind of racing through some of this stuff, so hold on to your seats. First of all, this uniqueness is tied to their identity. It makes them special to God and to His people. It brings status. And you know, a lot of these prophets love status. They love being called prophets. They love being called doctor. They make up the name doctor for themselves when they don't deserve it. They love being called apostle. They love the titles they're given. Rick Joyner, actually, I think we can call him Sir Rick Joyner because he is from, what is it? He's been knighted by the Knights of Malta, which is a Catholic group, which I'm just starting to learn about. Don't know if I'll ever be doing much with this, but it's interesting to say the least. But I see him once again chasing after these titles as well, to be called apostle, doctor, sir, or whatever it is that they're chasing after. So it's tied to their identity, to their uniqueness, their status. Belonging to an elite group is important. These prophets have strengthened their community. And the more they talk about how evil things are outside, the tighter the group gets, which is a whole nother subject. And that evil outside includes media, liberals, government, the Chinese, Muslims, the LGBT community, Hollywood. And they then become fighters with the ultimate purpose, predicting a future, fighting with angels, fighting the angels of hell, manifested through our enemies. I'm sorry, I tap into this they give us because I do, as I mentioned in my past videos. Actually, I haven't mentioned it yet. It's one that I deleted before I ever got to you guys. But from time to time, I will include myself in them because when I try to understand the way people think, I try to get in their heads. How would I think in their situation? So when I say this kind of stuff, a lot of times I'll say something that they give us a sense of control, pride. You know, this group that I can lead as a prophet gives me a sense of control. And being a prophet, I have a pride. I have ultimate purpose, fighting against those enemies. I make the world better. I become part of a group that is the John the Baptist for the future kingdom coming. How important am I as a prophet? How important? How unique? We are the saviors of humankind. We are the John the Baptists presenting the kingdom to come. And this package is tailor-fit for those who want to be special to God, for those who want to stand out. And now I'm going to get a little bit in my story. In 1972, probably in 1972, right around there, 73, I think it was 72, a girl prophesied over me and said I was going to be a prophet, a great prophet. And I took it to heart. And I think I explained that to you before, so most of you have caught that already. And after a few months, I realized I'm not going to be a prophet. And it was earth-shattering for me to realize that. And I want, and as I'm reading this book about conspiracy theories, I'm seeing myself. And I'm seeing that I was that person steeped in that rabbit hole called being a prophet. He talks about people who get steeped into conspiracy theories and how it's a rabbit hole that they get. And he himself was in a rabbit hole being a conspiracy theorist before he began realizing his conspiracy theory wasn't really as scientific as he was taught. Now, for me, there are several reasons that I had a real hard time letting go. And number one is the investment that you put in. You put in a lot. I mean, think about it. Okay, Chris Yoon, young kid, probably in his 20s, maybe 30s. He's growing a huge YouTube following. And people look to him and say how much they've been helped by his promises, how much they've been helped by his teaching. For him to admit, for him to face the fact that he's literally giving out crap, this would be earth-shattering for him. Why? Because he's invested so much into this. He's invested time and energy and so much Bible time, so much learning into this. It would be embarrassing for him. Now, fortunately, in my situation, I didn't have to face the embarrassment that he would have to, or others have had to. And the reason is because I moved around so much in my young years as a Christian. That's how I learned a lot about charismatic and Pentecostal churches, by moving around the country, transferred here, transferred there, going to 3 different colleges, 2 different seminaries, and then other countries, and the whole works. So by the time it was all said and done, I'm moving all over the place, and I never had time to really tap roots in. So when I came to realize that I was wrong and that I wasn't going to be a prophet, I had not yet told people I was going to be a prophet. That was something that I kept to myself and God. And so when I found I wasn't going to be, I didn't have to embarrass myself in front of everybody, but I embarrassed myself to myself. Because it is so, nobody wants to admit that they've been that deceived. It is so earth-shattering to say, I am absolutely wrong. When I admitted and finally came to the conclusion I was not a prophet, it wasn't only that went. I had to start all over in my Christian faith. I had to abandon 2 years, a little over 2 years, of a lot of studying in the Word of God, a lot of just all kinds of thinking and stuff, building. And I compared it to building that I had to just completely demolish and start all over on Jesus Christ and Him crucified. That's it. Now, fortunately, I did find in the months to come that there was all that lumber and all the bricks and everything that came down from the building, I could use them in better ways. I could still fit them, but in a different way. Now, on the rock, Jesus Christ and Him crucified. So the embarrassment is something that people have to put up with. Admitting to the core, because this is identity stuff we're talking about. To admit that I'm wrong is embarrassing to oneself, humiliating, extremely humiliating. I was almost like being in a cult. In my experience, I didn't have a community that I had to worry about, fortunately. Why? Once again, I moved around so much. I had close friends who were in Jacksonville, Florida, Some were going to Pentecostal churches. Some were going to Charismatic churches. I had close friends from being on a ship for a year, a little over a year. The first ship I was on as a young Christian. And I have no idea what churches they went to. I believe a lot of them, some of them went to Pentecostal churches, some went to Charismatic churches. One guy went to a Baptist church, but he was a little older, so he wasn't really a friend per se, but he talked me into going with him to get baptized at the Baptist church. That's another story. I got a good story about that. My best friend, Ray, taught me how to witness. Basically, just gave me the whole, he took me witnessing right from the beginning, and it was good. It was a good experience for me to learn how to talk to people and what works, what doesn't. Stay with the Word of God and don't be throwing in your 2 cents on every little stupid thing. So those are the kinds of things I learned from Ray. But Ray would always be my friend no matter what. I was also close to a girl who I was dating at the time in Jacksonville, Florida. And I took her to a Morris Cerullo meeting. And Morris stood in front of thousands of people and talked about this tremendous work God was doing in his ministry and his life. And he, the things that God was going to be doing, the revivals God was going to be bringing to the United States of America because of his ministry. And I was just like, wow, this is so cool. And I was so amazed and just looking forward to this. Is going to be awesome. I really look forward to seeing how Morris is going to do. And we get out of the auditorium, and my girlfriend says, I didn't like him. All he did is talked about himself. It didn't even occur to me till then. She caught on something I didn't. Anyway, I guess my point is, because of all the different friends that I had and the different churches they went to, for me, it was not a community that I was really dug into. And that a lot of people are going to struggle with. Your prophets are going to struggle with that. Some of them are pastors of churches. Some of them are very important in the church. At least they believe themselves to be very important in the church. So to come out and to say, I have been misled, to say, I'm going to quit this because it wasn't from God, to be able to realize that my words were not, even though some seem to work out, some seem to be right, to admit and to face the truth. It's not an easy battle. All right, this is Ted. You guys have a good one.